And now, it's that time of the week once again. Welcome to the Departure Lounge podcast with your hosts, Tom Whittle and Steve Woldridge. Your ticket to the home of aviation podcasts. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode number 36 of the Departure Lounge podcast here on the Departure Lounge YouTube channel, and of course on Spotify as well. If you're listening, a big hello to you as well. My name is Tom Whittle. Thank you so much for everybody joining us this evening, but also joining me this evening, as always, is my wonderful co-host. It is, of course, Steve Wall. I was going to say Woodbridge then. Steve Woldridge.
Not a good way to kick off the show.
Absolutely not. Steve, how are you this evening?
Yeah, no, fantastic. Really good. Thank you. Hope everyone at home is equally well. And obviously yourself, Tom. It's a pleasure to be back again with you this week.
Yeah, very well. Very well. I'm rocking a messy look today, but it's absolutely fine. It's not a problem. Everything's good. Everything's wonderful. We are, this is going to be a wonderful show this evening because of the obviously the content that we've got. So it's going to be good fun, especially the first one that we're looking into. But we'll get on to that shortly. Excuse me. Also joining us this evening for a little bit of chat, a little bit of debate, is, of course, Mr. Contributor to the show, Ian Hartley. Ian, good evening to you. How are you?
I'm very well, Tom. Thanks. Yourself? You all right?
Very well. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad.
Good. And Steve's there as well. You all right, Steve?
Yeah, no, decent. Thanks, Ian. Nice to see you again. Hope everything's well up your end.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's great up here. Yeah. All good in the hood, as they say.
Good stuff. All good enough for everyone up. Here we go. I'm not doing it. But,
yeah, well, you look like a monk when you did that.
Not the look we're looking for.
Look what you gave.
Don't they call it something like the Dalai Lama or something?
Yeah.
Or just a general monk, you know?
Brother Hartley.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
What are we talking about tonight, then?
Not Gandhi, obviously. No. Before we get into this evening's topics, of course, we encourage anybody to drop us any comments and stuff in the chat. We'll get them read out and stuff. Tonight we are looking at our favourite liveries from past and the present. So if you have any favourite liveries that you might want to share with us, do share it in the chat. We'll get them put out to you on the show this evening at some point. But before we do, we'll go into a little bit of housekeeping whilst we do that. So throughout the evening, and I will remember to do this time because I didn't do it last time, we'll put up our social medias. That's obviously ours in terms of the show, but you can also follow Steve and Ian on their separate social medias. I couldn't think then. Separate social medias, so we'll put those up throughout the evening as it goes on. As I mentioned at the top of the show, we are on Spotify, so this will go out tomorrow, I believe. So 24 hours later, this will go out, and we will. I've just seen it. So we'll get it out in 24 hours' time for you to listen to, and of course you can listen to all the other episodes that we've done so far, all 35, on Spotify as well, if you so wish to take us anywhere that you like. Do you know what? I do this so long, I always forget the other extra little bits that we have to add on because I tend to forget. We'll just go straight into it. If you want to become a guest on the show at any time, all you got to do is drop us a message, and we'll get you on the show as and when. Don't want people that are going to waste our times either. I'm just going to put that out there. Like, if you're going to be a guest on the show, you've got to commit. If you're not going to commit, that's tough taters and all that. So if you want to be a guest, drop us a message on the social medias, which will come up also in the description below, and we'll get you on the show. The other thing I was going to mention, of course, we're wearing it, is, of course, the shop merch. So Steve's rocking the hoodie. I'm rocking the hoodie because it's flipping cold, and Ian is Gandhi. You can find the shop stuff in the description below to the website and everything. You can purchase your merch as well. There you go. There's a little graphic there on screen now. Shops in the description below if you wish to help the channel out. We don't make a lot from it. In fact, we don't make anything from it. It's just something to give back to you guys. So if you wish to sort of contribute, and get your merchandise and stuff, a lot of people have already. So if you want to join them, links in the description below. Let's take that back off there. Anywho, let's crack on with this evening. So Ian, we've got a lot of comments to go through.
Yeah.
So far, so we'll go through them as we start the show.
Yeah, I'll rattle through them now. So we've got Marco Barrett saying evening guys to us also. Good evening to you, Marco, as well. We've got Liam Wilson. Air 2000 and Monarch Stripes were by far my favourite liveries. Absolutely fantastic liveries. I totally agree. Oscar Cole says hello, as does Mason Jason Aviation.
New names.
Quite
Thank
nice,
you very much for joining us. Hello.
Absolutely, yeah. Oscar Cole's again. My favourite livery is definitely the KLM 777 Orange Pride, which that's pretty nice, isn't it? Yeah, I do like that one myself. Yeah,
very good shout.
It's actually one of it's one of my favourite liveries when you're playing Flight Sim, because it's part of that mega pack, isn't it? In Flight Sim,
it is.
So,
yes,
and it looks really, really good, doesn't it? We've got hello, good to see you all from quarantine. So sounds like Grey Blue's on holiday in somewhere called quarantine. Having a nice time there.
Hello to you.
Yeah. The Air 2000 original scheme and the Monarch yellow and black stripes were, by far my favourites. That's Liam.
I think that's a reiteration on what you were saying earlier.
So absolutely fantastic Air 2000. That's a blast from past, isn't it? And Grey Blue again. Her favourite livery is definitely TAP Airlines, which is probably actually quarantine. Yeah.
Yeah. Cracking
not
shout.
Fit for anything else.
Fantastic shout.
Yeah. Continental Airlines Peter Max scheme, also a favourite.
Yeah.
I can't say I'm familiar with that without looking at it, to be quite honest.
Okay, interesting. We'll probably add that in there, actually.
Yeah, Martin Wooldridge, he's saying good evening to us also. Good evening to us all, Martin. Mason Jason Aviation again. I live at Bryce Norton, so it's the C-130 50 years livery, which is a fantastic livery as well. I agree.
Great shout.
Yeah, nice, yeah.
Great shout there.
Yeah.
We'll get the pictures.
I'm watching C-130 today up at Wharton from down Bryce Norton, so happy days.
Yeah. You can see the pictures on Ian's Instagram, which we'll get up shortly for you to go follow. Cheeky plug. Why not?
Why not indeed, eh?
Yeah, very good.
Why not? I'm just grabbing the picture there. So obviously, like I said, this evening's show is all basically about our favourite liveries. We are picking them out sort of at random this evening. We've got a bit of a list, so we will obviously be going through that as well. And like I said, if you've got any of your favourites, chuck them into the chat, and then we'll get them read out throughout the evening. But first one that we're going to go through, as we we've got a little spinny wheel in the background as we pick them out. But the first one that we're going to go through is one of the viewers' favourites. It is, of course. It is, of course, TAP Air Portugal. Now, two of us like it. One's not a fan. It's not.
We may as well.
Who's not a fan? But
we may as well stop the show here because we've just found the best livery in the skies currently. I don't know.
I think
we've peaked too early.
Entire episode just on this livery.
Oh, absolutely beautiful! Yeah, Marco Barrett's jumped in. He knows his liveries.
He knows his liveries. He
knows
his stuff.
Yeah.
So before we get the good as to why we like it, Ian, tell us why you don't like it. And if you don't know, we did the flip side of this, which was the worst liveries, and this was one of Ian's picks. So this is kind of to start off with, to kind of go.
Yeah,
right.
It's no. it's not that it makes me puke or anything like that. It's never as bad as that. What I dislike about the livery is it's a lazy livery. I call it a lazy livery, and I think I said this to Marco earlier today. It's you got Euro white body, which everybody's got these days, but it's like they've just sat down at lunchtime with the Subway or whatever it is, and they've sat there and they're tapping away on the computer, and someone's just put tap on the side of his livery, and they thought, oh, hang on, it's a little bit on the large side, so what we'll do, we'll crush it together a little bit and condense it, and I think that'll do. And then what we'll do for the tail is we'll just blow it up and just stick it over the top at the tail, and it'll be right. And that's pretty much what they've done. And I just think it's a lazy livery. Now, I understand why it's the colours it is because of Portugal and all the rest of it. I just think they've took Portugal's identity away from the actual aircraft as well.
Well, I mean, that's one man's opinion, I suppose.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the right opinion, but it is one man's opinion.
Well,
Well, I think Ian is completely outnumbered because we've got Jason Aviation, which is going to be a right mouthful throughout this evening because I'll end up saying it the other way around, who says it's beautiful. Oscar Coles, who I want to give a shout out to because he recently subscribed. So big thank you to you. He says it's gorgeous. Liam Wilson says that he prefers tapping the older colours, which admittedly I do as well, which is the old colours and stuff. I always like a nice cheap line livery, but I do like this livery as well. So, yeah. Main man himself, Sam Danvers, giving Velvet Town a shout out.
I'm surprised he's shown up after you mugged him off last night.
The colour red doesn't offend him, right?
yeah, I don't think. Pretty much like a bull. Kind of makes him angry at the moment.
Sorry.
I'm going to hold him a red card up then and send him off for that livery.
Rob Brown, Plain Spotting, as ever, joins us. He says, evening, chaps. So evening to you. And Aviation 19 says hello. So hello to you as well. Steve, on the flip side of what Ian said, why do we like this?
No, well, sort of going back to your previous point, I've seen the retro going into Heathrow, and it is admittedly better than this one, but I do like it. It's kind of cool, it's crisp, it kind of screams where it's come from, and I don't particularly buy into it being lazy. I think it's quite a nice livery and a nice logo, and it's sort of synonymous with the brand. So I can't get on board with Ian not liking it, to be quite honest.
I think it represents Portugal. I think the colours of the lettering and stuff, obviously green and red being sort of their national colours and stuff. So, I mean, you could do a lot worse. I think you could do a lot worse with it. You could just, let's say you could Iberia-ize it. So, you could have like a green and blue tail, green and red tail in the style of like Iberia, and then just go Air Portugal. Whereas this for me is like, it's a little quirky, it's a little different. I know Ian's not a fan of the fact that the letters are all bunched together. But I know
it still says what it is, though, regardless of
them being bunched up. It doesn't serve a purpose, does it? I mean, why write the word tap on the side of a plane and crunch it all together and make it look like 3 building blocks of kids thrown together and try and just put your thumbs on and say that'll do, lads?
Should we actually move on and actually bring something in that we're actually wanting to
agree with you? I would like to get the designer of TAP, the delivery, onto the podcast and ask him why.
If only it was this easy to get a bite when you go fishing in.
3 blanks in a row now, Steve.
Not wrong with shooting blanks. Right, let's move on to the next one as I spin the lucky wheel.
I do have to just comment, though, that Mason Jason Aviation agrees with me, and it is a lazy livery.
Yeah, I chose not to look at that.
Yeah.
And Marco's going to draw TAP Portugal aircraft just for me. Cheers, Marco, ex-mate.
Wonderful. So next one that we're going to move on to, which I'm just bringing up onto the screen now for anybody that is live watching us, is it's one of those ones again where it's a bit like the TAP Portugal livery, where it's very, very Marmite, I think is the best way of putting it. This was chosen by Ian himself, and it's of course the current Lufthansa livery. which we see here on the A380. Tell us why you like it.
If you want a livery, what's clean and crisp and represents the company and the country where it's come from, and you're going to redesign a livery, that's what you do with it. You don't need to do all this, like your Martin was saying there, Steve. The A between the T and the P is like him waiting at the bar, so you're going to be stood there like that, isn't it, with your shoulders crushed. But if you're gonna make something look crisp and smart, you've got the white Euro white plane again, but you've just got a simple Lufthansa down the side with a lovely blue tail with a logo just stamped on it. Tells you exactly what it is, where it's come from, and it just looks clean and neat. And I think you've got to agree with me. I do like the old Lufthansa livery a lot as well, but I think this one is just cleaner and crisper. And even that picture of it there just looks clean and crisp. So that's.
Do you know the only thing I would have done with it myself was put the royal blue on the engine covers. I think would have just made it look extra smart. But yeah, I'm with you. I think it's a fantastic livery.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout, Steve.
It's nice.
Couldn't they?
Sort of prefer it without the yellow, actually, to be quite honest. But yeah, engine covers with the
Lufthansa
navy
logo on or something.
sort of navy royal blue would have looked a lot nicer, I would say.
That would look dead smart. That yeah.
Marco Barrett's comment kind of sums it up for, I think, for a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of people that will probably hate it still anyway, but he says that. Ignore the fact that the poster fell down. That's 2 weeks in a row now. I'm going to have to do something about that. He says that he hated it and now he likes it. And I think for a lot of people, that kind of sums up this livery anyway, because a lot of people didn't like the fact that it was changing from what we knew to now. I hated it to begin with. I was like, it's so generic. It's very FedEx, but just obviously not a cargo plane sort of thing. But the more that I see it, the more I'm like, okay, it's all right. And then now I'm like, it's very clean. It's nice. I think the only change that I would make is to take the blue from the tail and have it go under the belly. So you have a blue underbelly, a bit like British Airways sort of thing.
Yeah, it's just it's a little bit too white in places. That's sort of why I suggested the engine covers there. But bring the blue up slightly more, just to break up the kind of sea of white on it.
Absolutely, yeah. I think on a plane like a 380, unless you stood in front of it, I don't think you'd appreciate the enormity of the actual plane and how white it is. But I think on your smaller planes as well, even on your 320s and things like that, it's a nice livery and it looks really well on them, I think.
Absolutely. So it's one of those ones where you either love it or you hate it, and you're all right to be in between. So for me, at the moment, I do like it. It's grown on me slowly, like it's grown a lot of people. Mason Jason Aviation says he loves it.
Yeah.
Oscar Coles says he prefers the old livery, like I do, but this one is a lot cleaner, which is it is. If you can't really go wrong with it, and it looks good on any sort of plane that adorns, like the 320 Neo, 321s, 330s, 350s, 747s, etc. It looks good.
It suits them all, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looked good. So
yeah, absolutely. They've done a good job on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aviation 19 saying that he also likes the old. He also likes the old Lufthansa livery. And Rob Brown plane spotting again, echoing what a lot of people think, which is Lufthansa didn't like it to start, but it's grown on him similar in vein to Air Baltic.
Yeah.
And how a simple Euro white should be.
I do love an Air Baltic one, but they've painted their engine cowlings, didn't they?
Yeah, that luminous greeny colour sort of thing.
Yeah, I do like an Air Baltic. Yeah, lovely planes.
Take note, Brussels Airlines. I'm just gonna No one's seen it yet. Type in Brussels Airlines new livery and tell me it don't look like Croatia Airlines.
Yeah, big time. Absolute rip-off, isn't it?
Absolute rip. Yeah, rip-off. Or just change squares.
Probably the same guy who designed that plane, to be quite honest.
Right, moving on to the next one.
I can't be bothered doing Brussels either. I'll just knock a Croatia one out.
No, that's fine. So everyone's a big fan of sort of the Lufthansa current livery because of the clean, crisp kind of design, I suppose. I mean, I think the first thing that a lot of people think is obviously FedEx because it's the same sort of blue. and obviously you lose a lot of color in terms of the yellow, but it is Euro white done right. Try saying that after a few, but yeah, Euro. I was going to Euro white done right, so you can't really go wrong with it.
Yeah, no, they've done a nice job. It's a nice clean image for the company as well. So absolutely top job.
Definitely. Like I said, if anyone's got any suggestions for their favourite liveries, put it into the chat, and we'll get get yours onto the show as well, and we'll talk about them as well. Going back over to the wheel now. You can't see the wheel, but I'm spinning the wheel.
I can hear it.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's a good one. Alrighty. So, this one was picked by myself, and I can't do anything but I'm going to have to do that. Picked by myself because I'm a big fan of this one. Excuse me. And whilst I'm a big fan of sort of the goldish livery that they had, you can never beat a good sort of retro. No, you can't beat a good retro livery. It is, of course, Gulf Air. So this was designed, or basically brought back for the airline's 70th anniversary. It's sort of the 1970s livery that the likes of the TriStar and VC-10s would have worn. And they brought it back on the 787-9 and the A321neo as well, which occasionally goes into Heathrow. I love this a lot. Like, I love the incarnation of this afterwards, which is not so. There's not a lot of gold on it. It's very brash. It's very dark, but it's also quite nice. But this interpretation of it is also, again, another livery where it's all white, but the color makes it so much different.
Yeah, I think the tail should have been a full-tailed color, perhaps, and the stripes maybe right along the fuselage for me. Like, sort of, not to disagree with you, but it looks sort of quite busy on the side of that plane rather than sort of clean and what have you. But
yeah, I think for me is like, obviously back in the 70s and stuff, this is how it looked. So it's not like they could make a modern adaptation of it, because obviously the livery now is what it is. But at the moment you got this and the 321neo, which are modern planes, but the sort of the 70s look for it, I think, is quite a nice livery. Whether it works on the 787 or not is a completely different story. I sort of think it does, but I know a lot of people don't like it, and they should have gone with probably something else, maybe like just kept it with a 321neo, which I think looks a lot better in this livery than the 787 does. But yeah, it's busy in terms of the colors and stuff, but at least there's color on it, and it's not just an all white thing with just titles on it and stuff. This was back when, people had money to spend on, people had money to throw at paint jobs and everything else.
Yeah, no, of course. It's obviously sort of synonymous with the brand at the time. It just sort of now I prefer their more sort of modern one that you see out and about compared to that one. That's just my thinking on that one in particular.
Ian, what do you? What's
I
your
like
opinion
it. I like everything about it. I can't see. There's nothing I don't like about it. I agree with what Steve was saying about the tail, but even so, I think even if they'd extended the lines down the tail, and then they would have lost the I presume it's an eagle image. It wouldn't have stood out as much, which is, I really like it. I agree with the 70th anniversary logo on the side there. I'm not sure what that marking is behind it. What's the mark behind it?
Something to do with Bahrain Grand Prix.
Right.
Yeah. So obviously keeping the modern touch to it now.
Yeah,
sort of just advertising the Grand Prix.
That's the only thing I don't like about it. It's got too much going on, and it's got the Gulf Air. It obviously says Gulf Air in Arabic above the wings there, I would imagine. The 70th anniversary, and then the Formula One thing or whatever it is you said, and then you've got the eagle on the tail as well. So there is a lot going on, but I do not dislike it at all. I think it's lovely. I really think it's a nice looking plane. And to be fair, there's not many Middle Eastern planes I don't like. To be fair,
for me, I prefer the sort of the 80s, late 90s variant of this one, which is a little bit better, I think, because you got that funny bronzy gold color, which is replaced by another color, and the font is all very different as well. So for me, that like you see it adorned on like the 340s and stuff when they were in service as well, and obviously the A330s and stuff. It looks a lot better than what this does. I think the colors are probably a bit too vibrant, but I do like this livery. But like the 90s variant of it, the colors are a lot more darker, so they're a bit more like punchy sort of thing at the same time, because then at least they're it's not so hard on the eye, and it doesn't look like it's just been thrown together on like a what's the thing I'm thinking of, like a Photoshop or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's. I think they've gone for the retro look, haven't they? They've definitely got the retro look, and they've put like they've tried to modernize it, haven't they? By, I suppose, making the logo on the tail a little bit shorter and making it look a bit more trendy and different fonts and things like that. So I think they've opted for a modern twist on a retro livery, and it's pretty much there for me, to be quite honest. I think, like you said, they could tweak it here and there, to be quite honest, but that's our opinion, isn't it? And we're only looking at it as well from one angle. I think if you could see it from a few different angles, I think it might sway the people who don't really like it, because it isn't a bad livery at all.
Yeah, no, of course. Like I said, it's only sort of the busyness of the writing on the fuselage sort of behind Gulf Air.
Yeah.
That sort of puts me off it a little bit.
Yeah, maybe a different colour might have helped. Maybe, rather than a really vibrant red, they could have gone for, I don't know, something less, striking, I suppose, less contrasting. I don't know.
Well, yeah, if you've got a retro livery to sponsor modern day things, just doesn't seem quite right. They should have just flown the special without the need to sponsor the Grand Prix or whatever. And maybe that would have sort of made it slightly better in my book.
I think it's because the Grand Prix for them is, it's one of those things where you're not going to completely get away from it, sort of thing. Like, it is obviously still part of their heritage and things like that, where they want to advertise it for people to, for tourism purposes, if you will. But I mean, I like it. I like it. But the thing is like I said, the 90s variant of it is a lot better. I'm just trying to grab a photo.
I think Steve did you not put a picture on Instagram the other day, Steve, of Gulf Air?
Yeah, I did. It was the sort of more like the more modern one, not the retro looking one.
Yeah, that's a nice looking plane as well. It really, really is.
Yeah. Let me just find the picture. Hang on. Right, there we go. So this is what I mean. So you see the difference?
Yeah, so I really like that one.
So the bronzy gold is replaced by a brown, and you got the eagle, which kind of has the colours coming off it rather than just sort of blending with it. So I actually like this better, and the font makes it look a bit more classy, more like regal sort of thing.
I see what you're saying. That the colours on the tail make it look like it's coming off the back of the bird, and it doesn't have that effect at all, does it, on the new one?
Yeah, I'm absolutely with you on that. That looks a lot better than the other one.
Yeah.
It's less classic. It looks classy.
But it's the same sort of style as the 70s one, because it's in the same style, but obviously you got the change of colour from from the goldy bronze colour to this sort of brown colour, which is more of like a Middle Easty type colour anyway. So that you would associate like your dark browns and things like that with deserts and everything else. So this kind of works for me a lot better than the 70s version, which obviously we've just seen on the 787.
Yeah, no, that was really classy. I really do like that. Like Ian sort of mentioned, with the colours coming off the eagle or whatever the bird is on the back there, it just looks a lot better. Like the one you showed earlier on, it just kind of stopped in a straight line, and then they sort of stuck the bird on underneath it. So that for me looks classier and nicer.
Yeah, Oscar Cole saying that he prefers this one to the other one as well. which I imagine probably a lot of people would do. So, yeah, I like it. I think it's wonderful. I think it's a fantastic little livery. The one that they replaced it with, which was the gold on the front of the nose, and the rest of it was white and with the blue line sort of thing. That was pretty nice. I enjoyed that one as well. Current one, not so much, but we're not going into that because we're supposed to be talking about our favourites, and this is one of mine because I've picked it. So
Yeah, it's nice.
I'm correct.
Yeah.
But yes, we've also got a shout from Martin Waldridge, who says a vote for Air New Zealand. So if you had to pick an Air New Zealand livery, which one would it be?
I quite like the one at the moment, the pure black with the sort of New Zealand fern or whatever it is on the tail. I dread to think how much the paint job weighs to have on that aircraft, but still, I think that looks really cool. Sort of,
Yeah.
they do it better than the Oman Airways, which are also black. I think it just looks a lot classier on the New Zealand one.
Yeah, Ian, what would you pick of the Air New Zealand liveries?
I think I'd be inclined to agree with Steve. To be quite honest, it really stands out, and it's one on its own, isn't it? Like you said there, Steve, I wouldn't like to have to pay for it to be painted, and I'm sure the fuel consumption of the plane's gone up as well. We're having a black fuselage and things like that. But yeah, I think I'd tend to agree. To be quite honest, it's nice. It really is.
I would go for myself. I'd go for the one before, actually, with the so like the white body with I don't even want to call it. Someone's like a fern on the front of it with any. It's clean. It's nice. I like it. I've put a picture up of 747 in that livery on my Instagram, of course, which I've just shown. Excuse me, before. So for me, that's my favorite. I do like the black. The black livery that they've got at the moment as well. So for me, I always like the older ones.
Have you spotted that coming into Heathrow? I've never seen it myself.
What the black livery?
The black one or the other one. I've not seen New Zealand personally.
I've posted a picture in my Instagram of the 747s.
Oh yeah, of course. Sorry, yeah.
And 777s as well, like 777-200s. They came in the same livery because there used to be 2 flights a day, I believe. And then obviously recently they've stopped flying to Heathrow after sort of so many years. So hopefully they do come back. So fingers crossed and all that. But yeah. So that's our look at Gulf Air as we click to spin the wheel to see what comes up next.
Yeah. There is a nice picture of a 1987 747 in like a retro livery in New Zealand, which is a lovely looking thing. Green and blue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Well, that's really nice.
Yeah. Right, next one that we're doing is one of my absolute personal favourites. And it's, for me, it's one of the best liveries I think that's ever sort of graced the skies, if I'm honest. What I'm talking about is the Delta Widget livery, which is an absolute classic and a favourite among not just American plane spotters, but like plane spotters around the world. It's one of those liveries that is synonymous with Delta, obviously because of the widget. It's what made the widget famous for Delta. And as you can see, like on aircraft like DC-10, it's just, it works on everything. It works on like the MD, the like DC-9s they had, the MD-80s, 737s, MD-11s, you name it, TriStars, etc., 767s, etc. The livery is fantastic, and anyone that knows me, like Steve and Ian both know, I am an absolute sucker for a cheat line. for a cheat line, and this is just it's perfect. So you've got the nice sort of dark blue cheat line, and obviously the grey chrome sort of underbelly as it was at the time. So for me, this is like one of the best liveries to ever grace the skies.
The beauty of that plane's in its simplicity, isn't it? It's not done anything sort of over exciting, but it still really works, and you could see it today as a retro, couldn't you? Easily. But yeah, it's
Right.
fantastic. There's no sort of airs and graces. It is.
Yeah.
This is what it is. Here's the logo and sort of. It's good because it's not over fancy. That's what sort of works for it.
Yeah. They brought it back twice. So they brought it back on I want to say they brought it back on a 757, which is now at the Delta Museum of Flight, I believe, or the Delta Museum. Someone will correct me with the name of it. But there's obviously that got put into the museum as a museum piece, and of course the most famous of it was the Spirit Delta, which was the 767-200, which was painted up in this livery before its retirement as a bit of a throwback, which I think as well is now a museum piece at the same place. So I'd love to go visit the Delta Museum, actually, just see all the rich history of the airline and everything else. But yeah, for me, it's one of those timeless classics where if you saw that today, I think it would fit right in.
Yeah, it's got the same kind of feel as the BAA Systems 319, isn't it? That British Airways is sort of using until the end of this month, isn't it? It's got that kind of sort of classic vibe from the era. And yeah, it's just nice. It kind of it's obviously retro because it is now, but it's kind of cool retro, like a nice stylish retro, and it is just a really, really decent livery without sort of overcomplicating things.
I totally agree there. It's like you were saying, Steve, it just says what it is. It's got just simplicity, isn't it? It's just got the Delta logo with the word Delta on it and a nice line running down outside, and it doesn't try to be anything overcomplicated. It's not trying to grab people's attention, I don't think. Like you can look at the Gulf Air one, for instance, and you can see all the writing. You can even like think of when you look at the new Expo 380, for instance, where they paint them now to try and catch your eye. So they want you to look at them. They want you to, but obviously that would catch your eye. But at the time, I suppose that was how they painted the planes, and it didn't try to be anything that it wasn't, and it just works, doesn't it?
Yes, it's not.
It's class. It's a classy livery. That's
It
what
really
it
is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a flying billboard. That was sort of my beef with the Golf just now. It is just that's what I am. This is us.
Absolutely. Rob Brown Plain Spotting says that the Delta livery just works. It's cracking.
It does work. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oscar Coles saying it's very beautiful, which it is.
Yeah.
I say it's America's Landor livery, if you know what I mean. So for us, like here in the UK, we always look at it and we like the Landor livery is very synonymous because it's very classy, it's very elegant, and it's a livery that everybody loves that is into aviation and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Americans are the same with this livery. Americans are completely the same with this livery. They absolutely adore it. It works on it works with the whole that elegance and class and things like that. So
sorry, I was going to ask you if there was anything still flying with that livery on.
Say again, sorry.
If there was anything still flying in that livery.
No,
everything's gone, has it?
Everything's gone from it. Yeah. Everything's gone from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be a phenomenal capture if you'd ever managed to get one of those. That's undeniably so.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so it is what it is, and you can see the livery down at the museums anyway, a lot of the Delta Museum and things like that on the 757, 767 that are down there. So it's a cracking little livery, and I love
that.
It.
Yeah, it really is.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Very, very class. Absolutely class. Rob Brown Plain Spotting, just before we move on to the next one, says a bit controversial, but how about the Boris Force One A330 as a livery?
It's not for a sort of one of the major sort of leaders of the world. It's not overly inconspicuous, is it? Like you know who's coming in it, but I don't know. It's it is what it is. It kind of shows its Britishness, and I don't know. It doesn't sort of ooze class to me. It's sort of a bit kind of tacky, almost, that livery for me.
Ian?
I really like it. Totally disagree with you, Steve. I think it's. I really do. I think it's a proper nice livery. But you've also to take into account that it's actually a piece of serving military equipment as well. It's not just Boris's jet, is it?
Mm.
It's
still used for.
It's still used in the military, isn't it? So
Yeah,
it can't.
they've just painted it up for.
It's never
for
going
that
to be Air
service.
Force One, is it?
No.
But compared to what when that COP26 were in Scotland, what some of the other governments were flying over in, I think Bojo one's probably one of the nicer ones, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think they try not to be too conspicuous with obviously who they are, sort of thing, as a government thing. But I mean, it is nice. I mean, it's nice. I mean, I've obviously seen it on the 321 Neo as well when it came down here to Newquay for the G7 and that. It looked all right on there, and for the 330, I think it looks okay. As much as I think it's also a waste of money at the time to paint one up like that, I think it still looks all right. I think it still looks good.
Yeah, I like it.
I just think the Union Jack on the tail slightly sort of overbearing on it. That's just my opinion of it.
Marco Barrett says that he agrees with you, Ian, and says that the Bojo livery is gorgeous.
Yeah.
The thing, I know for a fact Marco's got one showing up tomorrow, so that's why he's saying that.
Lovely. Right, so we'll move on to the next one.
Yeah, Marco can feel a drawing coming on.
Decides to tell us what we're doing next. Oh, it's a good one. Okay, it's a good one. So, another timeless classic, another American livery. And this time, more of a... more American than probably the Widget livery, actually, and one that is a proper timeless classic. And, of course, the American Chrome livery.
For those who watched our worst liveries, I rinsed the new livery purely because it got rid of this. Like, it's incredible. Like, how often do you see a main sort of carrier using a chrome aircraft? It was ridiculously good, and what they replaced it with was nowhere near as good as what they had before. It was incredibly iconic, and then they just ripped it apart and gave us like a standard airline that you'd see every sort of country of the world. It's sacrilege that they got rid of this.
Yeah. So if we think back to sort of the 60s when this livery was around, it adorned the likes of the 707, which that tells you how far back this livery's gone. It's obviously with the 707, 727s, the sort of early ages of the 737s that they had through acquiring different airlines and things like that. And it's gone all the way through. 747s have worn it as well for the short time that they were in the fleet. And this livery is a proper classic. It's a timeless classic. They've kept the 737-800 that's in the picture in that livery because it's obviously it's done as a retro livery now. But for me, also a bit like the Widget livery, it is one of the best ones out there that there has ever been. It's what I always like to do is a lot of people love to photo this livery because once you had a plane that was very shiny, the reflections that it gave off were awesome. So they added like a little bit of extra to your photograph sort of thing. I've got a couple of photographs of it that you can see, like Heathrow airport car parks and things like that. And if it's going over the top of you, you try and see if you can see yourself in it, sort of thing. Even if you are a small dot. So it was a nice little livery that spotters enjoyed because you can get a little bit extra from it with the reflections and everything else like that.
I just think there's one of sort of my earliest memories of seeing was the Home Alone films. Obviously, they caught them in there, and they just wowed you. Like, it's essentially a mirror. It's like Tom was saying, they're absolutely fantastic. And I say, if American Airlines had always flown what they've flown now, I wouldn't have such a problem. But to bin such an iconic, beautiful looking aircraft in favour of what they got now was just, I don't know. They obviously had their reasons, but I think obviously they should have kept this because it's an absolute stunner.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that the main reason that they did it was because they needed to rebrand, because there was a lot of rumor going around that American were in financial difficulty, and so a rebrand was needed in order to kind of shake things up a little bit and to obviously get them out of a financial hole, which is crazy to think about now considering the size of their fleet and everything. But that was the rumor back then, which is why they rebranded. And of course, they were getting newer planes in which they couldn't chrome at all. 787s and stuff wouldn't have been able to have the chrome type livery, I don't think, because of the materials that they were made from. So I think an eventual rebrand would have been done, but I think you could still have the chrome livery, but you could maybe paint a grey on it as opposed to change the livery completely. You could have done away with the chrome and just put like a light grey on, or a dark grey, or just something, something like that. But for me, timeless classic, absolutely 100%. It's a timeless classic, and it'd be there for all the time, sort of thing, as one of the best. Now, this livery obviously won't be around for a long time. They may retire that plane and keep it in it, or they may just repaint it and be done with the whole retro scheme of it. But yeah, it's easily one of the best. Easily one of the best.
Yeah, absolutely no arguments. What do you think, Ian?
I totally agree with you. It's just as American can get, isn't it? You're never going to see another plane like that, to be quite honest. I think the only thing that's got any chrome on it now is the belly of Air Force One, isn't it? And maybe the engine cowlings on the Jet 2 or something like that. That's the only time you ever see chrome on planes now. But I think Aviation 19 was saying they lost livery because of the US Airways merger. Now, I think from a painter point of view, to sell a plane like that onto another company and for that company to repaint that plane, the cost would have been absolutely astronomical because of the. I would imagine it's polished aluminium rather than chrome, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
But to actually be able to repaint that to a normal paint would have been the cost would have been absolutely astronomical. So I think from a cost cutting point of view, when you're saying American was struggling, I would say it was probably the right decision at the time for that particular company. It's just that nobody likes it, do they? Nobody likes what they turned into. But that, it's just a sign of the times. Everybody did it, didn't they? They've all got rid of the old nice liveries and all gone with the Euro. I don't really they've all gone. No, but they've all gone away from this sort of image, and sort of all everybody's toned everything down, haven't they? And I think that's like I say, it's just a sign of the times, isn't it? And I think that American is no different to any other airline, and it's a massive shame that they did lose the chrome livery. But I think, like you said, Tom, I think it's something they had to do at the time to rebrand.
Rebranding and the financial difficulty, hence the merger as well. So it's So I think eventually it would have been changed. You couldn't keep it around forever, sort of thing. But it's like I said, it's one of those timeless classics that there's only a handful of them that I can think of that come to mind, which are of course like the Iberia livery from like before the current one. That's a timeless classic for me.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Landor livery is a timeless classic because that would fit in with today's aviation. This one, the American one, the Delta Widget, there is quite a few, but a small handful sort of thing. At the same time.
Yeah, I think if you said to an aviation enthusiast, sort of picture or describe me an American airline, that's probably this aircraft here is what you'd get described back, not
absolutely
modern day one.
I think so.
I definitely agree. Yeah.
Wonderful stuff. Right, let's move on to the next one. As we take that off and we get through our little spinny wheel thing. that we have here. Right, let's have a look at the next one, see what we have got, and it's a good one. Certainly is a good one. At least for me, it's a good one. Let's have a look here. 2 seconds as I bring it up on the screen. Try to. It doesn't look great, but it would do. Right, for me, this one is another really nice livery where they've sort of ruined it by trying to get with the times and stuff, but for me it was kind of one of those liveries where it worked, and of course it had a cheat line, so of course I'm going to think it works. It is of course the Kuwait Airways livery, which is probably a bit of a surprise to a lot of people, but for me this is one of those liveries where it just looks very, very clean. It's not busy at all, and it just looks really nice, just really, really nice. Of course, adorning the likes of the 747, 777, 320s, 340s, 330s as well, which are still flying around in this livery now, even after the sort of the new livery being brought to service. So it's I mean, there's been various different annotations and different sort of versions of this over the years, like the 70s, 80s, and then obviously this incarnation here. I absolutely love it. I love the fact that the name of the airline is on the tail as well. I think that adds something a little bit nicer to it, and it's very elegant is the best way of putting it.
Yeah, no, it's sort of sort of simplistic. Maybe a bit of that light blue on the underside of it might have sort of enhanced it a little bit. But yeah, the kind of simplicity of it with the cheat line and that, and sort of the tail's got the uniqueness of the name underneath it, and that it's not terrible. And so, as someone said, Marco Barrett said, it looks very governmental. It's sort of hard to disagree with that. I can see where he's coming from on that.
Very similar to the state of Kuwait government livery, where the blue in the middle of the tail is kind of taken out with the white. So it's a white tail with like blue lines. So it's the same, very similar livery to it. It's just that big bulk of blue is just taken out, and it's just a white box sort of thing. But Mark about saying that, like I say, it looks very governmental. Governmental. Oscar Cole was saying it looks quite smart, especially the tail, which I think is quite nice. I think it looked quite nice on any aircraft that it basically flew on, really. Like A300s, it looked great. 320s, it looked great. 777s looked amazing in it, and everything else. So it's another livery that, for me, works with pretty much any aircraft that you put on.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously the white is nicely broken up. Like I say, I'd probably want a little bit more of the blue, maybe on the engines or maybe underneath it, just to give it sort of slightly more colour. But it's not atrocious, and it's sort of got a nice sort of retro feel about it as well.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. Ian, same for you?
I mean, maybe on the 340, I'm not a massive fan, I'll be honest with you. Don't get me wrong, it looks smart and everything. I honestly think it would look better on the smaller plane, to be quite honest. I just think the 340 is a long plane, isn't it? And I just think it needs something else. Like Steve was saying, maybe something around the engines, and maybe something under the belly of the plane or something, just to break it up a little bit more. I think it just needs. It's nice, but it just needs a little bit more, I think, for me. Yeah, I'm not. I'll be honest. I'm not a massive fan of that blue. To be honest, I like it.
What would you want? Like a darker blue or different colour altogether?
I don't know whether I'd want it a little bit wider, to be quite honest. Yeah, I think I'd want it a little bit wider. I think there's just on a 340. I think there's not enough on it. Maybe on a 320 or something a bit smaller. I think it would have looked absolutely fine, or even. Possibly even on a 747, which is a big plane again, but it doesn't look as long and thin as what a 340 does. I just think that I don't know whether the 340 is probably a bad example, and I think nicer in my eyes. I think different aircraft would have wore the livery a lot nicer than what the 340 does, to be quite honest.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Rob Brown Plainspot is saying to check out the Q80 Air Force C-17's livery, which I'll do shortly if you'd like to talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, I was just thinking when you were saying that about the is it the Qatari and that's the A400 C-17, the Qatari one. Oh, I don't know.
Okay, yeah, C-17.
Yeah. It's C-17, because you can get a model of it, can't you? You can buy a Revel model of it, can't you? With a Qatari livery.
Yeah, it's not one I'm
not the
familiar
Qatar
with
one.
myself.
No. Right, let's see if that comes up. Nope. Right, 2 seconds. Yeah, still talk amongst yourselves.
But yeah, no, like we both sort of agree with that one we've just had on the screen now. I just think it needs a little bit of extra sort of blue on it just to break it up. But
I think so. I just think it's maybe a different plane would wear it a little bit better than what an A340 does. Yeah, now that's nice.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it looks decent now. It's sort of classy without being overbearing like that.
Yeah, so you couldn't really put it onto a 340 or nothing, but it does look quite nice.
Yeah, I like the fact it's got the grey underneath it, white above, grey underneath, because that line sort of is then the boundary of the colour change.
Yeah. I mean, if
Tom,
I...
can you just call me off a sec, please? Sorry, man. I've just got to do something. Sorry.
Carry on. If I quickly just go back to, obviously, what we were looking at before, which was obviously the Q80 Airways livery. I'll just find a sort of a smaller plane that wears it, so we can sort of compare really to, obviously, the 340, as he was talking about. I mean, I sort of disagree a little bit with what he was saying. I think it works with pretty much any plane.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see the smaller one, just to see if sort of the condensed version of it looks different.
Yeah, I'll just grab a.
Yeah, that C-17 there is decent. I do really like that. It's smart. It sort of incorporates the country's colours as well, and it just looks quite good.
So, quick one.
Now, yeah, see, Ian's probably got a point. I think it looks nice on that, whether it's the photo or not. But a slightly more condensed version of it, I do think that does look better than the 340. To be quite honest.
I mean, I'll stick with my guns, and I'll say that it kind of, to me, looks better. Well, it looks good on any aircraft, for me, at least.
Yeah, I just think it looks smart on there, where it's slightly more condensed. Oh, right, he's back now. What do you think?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry. My daughter's in quarantine next door, and some of her mates were shouting it through the window, and I could hear them. So, like throwing bananas at monkeys. That looks miles better. That looks dead nice. Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
interesting shout. Okay.
Yeah, I think it looks miles better when it's condensed into a smaller plane. The tail looks a lot. Obviously, I don't know. It's just all condensed together, isn't it? Where the tail was so far away from the cockpit on the 340 that you weren't. I don't think you were seeing it all as one image. Yeah, it looks nice. I like that.
Yeah, you've got the name, the Arabic, or whatever it would be, the reg, and then the tail. It's all kind of regimented, like Bosch. There it is.
That's it. You see.
Yeah, Rob Brown Plainspot and says that he agrees smaller looks better.
That's it. Size isn't everything. Not even sold.
It's not about the size; it's what you do with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
No comment.
Yeah. I mean, I need to check my Kuwait Airlines tattoo.
So that's that one. We've got a few more to go before 9 o'clock hits. We're going with or I'm looking forward to this one. So this is more of a recent introduction to the skies. At the moment, it only adorns one particular plane. But for me, I think you could probably see this rolling out onto the rest of the fleet. What I'm talking about is the A350 Aeroflot livery. For me, like when they rebrand it, I think what they've got at the moment is there's a lot of grey there, and it's too much. This to me is a lot more classier because you've got the grey which runs under the belly, and you've also got the maintaining of the Russian flag on the tail, but it's obviously boosted a bit more to kind of go down onto the sort of the rear end of the fuselage. For me, this is nice and clean, and the fact that the engines are blue and red as well, like the current livery, and just the white itself makes this properly stand out. And this is, honest to God, like so good, like probably one of the best ones out there at the moment for me.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. As a sort of like we have to get used to the fact that Euro white livery is what we're going to have to deal with for the foreseeable future. But Aeroflot have done a great job on this, like really, really nice. And that tail in particular is absolutely sort of beautiful. The way they've portrayed the Russian flag, and the whole plane sort of screams Russia. This is where it's from, and it's just a nice kind of clean, sort of fresh image for the company. Sort of the other ones with the kind of dark blue and grey, and that, whilst they're always great to photo, they look sort of quite bleak when they showed up at Heathrow. But to see one of these would be a real treat. Like the tail in particular, I absolutely loved the tail on it.
I know the 350s go in on a they go in on the odd occasion. I know sometimes, obviously, Manchester United use them, and they go into Manchester specifically for it. So there's obviously that side of things as well. But for me, like, I mean, if you imagine this on like a 777 or a 320 Neo or something, I think it shows the whole plane off a lot better than if you were to keep the sort of the silver livery and things like that. Like, I like the silver livery, but this for me is a lot better. Like, a lot better. It's a lot cleaner, a bit like with the Lufthansa one. You know, everyone liked the Lufthansa one before, but the Lufthansa one now is a lot cleaner and everything else. So for me, this is what if you're going to do a new livery, you got to do it right. And Aeroflot have done exactly that.
Yeah, incredibly striking. Like, just really striking. Obviously, like you can only tell so much from that photo, but I'm really quite impressed with it. It just looks clean and fresh, and it's a nice change of image for Aeroflot, I'd say.
Absolutely. Ian?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Obviously, the first thing that does catch your eye is the tail, but because they haven't quite done away with the silver, what they used to have, you sort of your eyes are guided along the underbelly of the plane, particularly in that particular shot. So you sort of get caught with the tail first, and as your eyes get drawn under the underbelly of the plane, you sort of forget that the rest of it's just pure white, and then your eyes are caught by the winglet and then the engine cover, and then obviously it says it in Russian, the Aeroflot logo on the side as well. So I think it's not just an absolutely stunning livery, which it really, really is, but I think it's been cleverly designed as well, where your eyes aren't actually taken by the Euro white fuselage, which everyone's got these days. I think your eyes are more drawn along the silver of the plane, which guides your eyes towards the engines, which is what cheat lines do in a sense, isn't it? You sort of you tend to miss what's around them, and you tend to follow the coloured lines. So I think they've done it's very, very clever livery, and again, it's a proper striking livery, like you say. It's an absolute stunner. It really is, and it does look really nice, even with the Euro white fuselage as well. I think it really, really is striking and really does stand out. Yeah,
you're absolutely right. That's exactly what I did. I followed that grey, like the silver line, to see if it carried on underneath the underside of it. So yeah, it's exactly what I've done. Is what you described when I first saw that. Then so they've hit upon something there.
Definitely, yeah. Well, they used to do it with cars in I don't know, 70s and 80s. You used to put a cheat line outside of your car, and it used to take your eye off whatever you were looking at, and you used to just follow the cheat line in the car. I used to work in a garage, and you used to put things like graphics and things like that, and extra badges on cars and things like that to take your eye away from a repair or a bad repair or a dent or something like that, and your eye will get drawn away from it and get drawn into a detail. And pretty much that's what Aeroflot have done with this one. They've took your eye off the actual Euro white fuselage and just kept your eye rolling along the colours of the plane to make you catch the engine cowlings and the wingtips. It's an absolute stunner. It really is proper clever design. That
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, so Oscar Cole says that he likes the livery a lot as it stands out against other planes, especially the tail, because obviously the Russian flag itself has been enlarged from what we've known basically with the livery they've got at the moment, and obviously this livery is only worn by the A350 at the minute. So I expect that what they'll do is they will roll it out across all the other fleets, especially the Neos and everything, when they get a little bit more in that, because I think this will probably take off a little bit more. And obviously they need a little bit of a refresh because the current livery is a little bit sort of not, I wouldn't say past its time, but it is getting to that stage now where you think a rejig probably might be worth doing at this point. So yeah, for me, at the moment, one of the best ones out there.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'd look forward to seeing that one when they do sort of start flying it more regularly.
Absolutely. So
I bet it looks stunning as well on the smaller plane. I bet it looks really nice.
On a Neo and stuff, it would be great. I've got it on the 777 on the flight sim, and even that looks amazing.
Yeah, I bet it does.
Absolutely astonishing. So I wouldn't be too surprised if it starts to sort of roll out onto the rest of the fleet.
Yeah,
but as
absolutely.
we roll on to the next one. Woohoo! Right, okay, so the next one, I'm just going to go and find this now. There we go. The picture was provided by our own Ian Hartley. One of these ones where I'm undecided whether I'm a big fan of it or not, but Ian's a big fan of it. It is, of course, the old Etihad livery as opposed to the new one. Ian, why did you pick the old one as opposed to the new one?
I think it's just got class about it. You've got the cheat line running down the side. You've got the I don't know what to call it, a creamy goldy colour of the actual plane itself, and you've got the big logo. I'm a fan like you are, Tom. With you're a fan of your cheat lines. I'm a fan of a symbol on a tail rather than just a flag or something on a tail. I like to see a representation on the tail, and that's what this has got. And it's also got the little the colours above it. It's it's a stunning looking plane. I can't agree with Marco. The new one is a nice looking plane, don't get me wrong, but it isn't as classy looking and as smart looking as that. It's not. The other one's just a lot of triangles all mixed up, all different colours.
Steve,
don't get me wrong, it's a nice plane. I'm just saying it's not as nice as this.
Steve?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. What you've picked is not atrocious. It's not wrong, but the modern plane in all its special liveries, its original livery, it just supersedes this. If you get a photo of an Etihad on a sunny day against the sort of goldenly paintwork it's incredible. Like a really, really nice photo. It's a great plane to spot the current livery, and that's the only reason I would say it was better than this one here. It's not atrocious. It's smart. It's classy looking, but like I say, I just think with the modern plane just sort of pips it for me, I'm afraid, on that one.
Oscar Cole was also saying he likes it, but he does like the modern one more. So I think a lot of people are disagreeing with you at the moment, Ian, because Rob Brown Planespoint says he likes his Etihad livery, but the year Zayed 777 freighter livery is one of the best he has seen, which obviously is in the current modern modern livery that we see sort of nowadays.
Yeah, I'm not denying it. I mean, is it the green liner and even the Man City logo? A pair of absolutely stunning looking planes. But for me, just an original run of the mill bog standard plane coming into an airport, that's beautiful. It really is. I really think that's a stunning plane.
It is simple. It is simplistic. It's got everything you need to know about it, like where it's from, etc. With the coat of arms and the colours of the flag draping across the tail and stuff. So, I mean, it is quite nice, and I'd probably go with the new one as well, just because it is a little bit different. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with this one.
I really
nothing
like
wrong with this livery.
their new ones. I really like what they've done on their Jews livery. So you've got, off the top of my head, Japan, New York. I think there's more. I really like what they've done with those. They've not gone overboard, and they've kept it looking classy and unique. So yeah,
Absolutely.
what they've done on their latest ones is amazing.
Yeah. Well, we've got time for a couple more before we start to wrap the show up this evening. So we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And what we're going to do, I know Ian's been like desperately wanting to speak about this one for a long time.
Yeah.
So we're going to get it on just for him. And it, of course, is the Fuji Dream Airlines liveries. Now, obviously, not just the one picture. We've got a group of them because obviously there are quite a few. So, Ian, if you'd like to explain as to why you've chosen a very small.
You don't need to explain, do you? Well, you don't, do you? I mean, looking at the images you've got in front of you there, they don't really do it any justice. But when you actually see. I've got a lot of like Fuji Dream sort of links into Instagram and things like that, so I get quite a lot of pictures of them. But when you're actually looking at the actual aircraft themselves, they're all just absolutely stunning planes. They really are. They've got so many different variations of so many different colours, and I think they just I've not seen a bad one yet, and I think they just look different, and I think they just add something new to airlines themselves, but. I don't know. I just think they're like you say. If you don't really get the proper representation looking at an image like that. But if you're looking at the actual photographs, and I would urge anybody to start googling around Fuji Dreams Airlines and looking at actual images of the planes, and tell me that there isn't a bad one amongst them, because there isn't. They're just absolute stunning planes. They really are. The colours are just fantastic, and I really like what Fuji Dreams are actually doing and throwing something a little bit different into the mix instead of just a Euro white livery with a bit of a hat symbol on the side or something,
Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't quite know who Fuji Dream Airlines are, they're a Japanese airline based at Shizuoka Airport and Nagoya Airfield in Japan. They were founded in 2008 and then commenced operations a year later in 2009. They only have a fleet size of 16 airplanes, and they go to 17 destinations, all, of course, domestically, being operated by 3 Embraer 170s and 13 Embraer 175s. Obviously, all adorning the new, obviously the colourful liveries and stuff. Eventually, they are going to have to replace them, and there has been talk about of course, the Embraer 190 E2s and the Mitsubishi regional jet as well. So, big plans for an airline that it's not very big, and considering it's been going for the last sort of like 12 odd years or so, and only having a small fleet of 16 aircraft and stuff, they're probably going to want to expand at some point. Sort of a bright future ahead of them for definite. Definitely a bright future. Which colour or which livery would you say, Ian, is probably your favourite one on this one?
On that particular page in front of me there, I'll probably say, I don't know, I like them all. Probably this bottom left corner here, this like sort of aquamarine type colour here. But there are quite a few. If you got another picture of them, there are some pastel shades as well.
I'm having a real bad time with these posters
Yeah,
today.
you are.
There's a gold
There are
one.
some there's some pastel type shades as well, which are like lighter yellows and lighter pinks and things like that, and they are proper stunning looking planes.
Yeah,
So
the
would you
gold
go
one
for-
looked nice.
Would you go for like the emerald one then?
This bottom left hand corner here. Yeah,
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 emerald,
because I'm going
yeah.
to see that, aren't I, from here?
You've got the same picture in front of me, surely, haven't you?
Yeah. So the emerald one.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you. Yeah, it does
Very
actually say
good.
emerald under it, doesn't it? Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Steve, which one would you pick? Oh, is he buffering a little bit? I'll take him out.
I think it's
think
for us. He did actually say he likes the gold one, but it's apricot pink.
Apricot pink.
Yeah.
Great success.
I know he's a big fan of apricot pink anyway.
Apricot pink.
Yeah.
I think he might be back. We'll bring him back in anyway.
Yeah, there it is.
He's back now. Slightly buffering, but he's back. Yeah, we can see you.
Yeah, the gold one.
But yes. But I think for me, I like the raspberry one. The raspberry red one's quite nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's proper nice. Like I said, I would urge anyone to Google them and have a look at them. And I think Marco Barrett, if he's still, Marco Barrett's still there now. I think it's a good project for you, that Marco. One of those.
Absolutely.
Get a good picture.
So he likes the gold one as well, which is the apricot pink one. As well. Rob Brown Plain Spotting giving us a question saying any favourite retro or special liveries. Being biased, he's a sucker for the Cargo Luxe 747 liveries.
Me personally. Oh, sorry, go on, Steve.
I was going to say, assuming I'm not buffering, I will go for the BEA Systems A319 is well up there for me.
The inner av geek in me wants to correct you so fucking bad,
Yeah,
but I'm not going to.
Let's go on, say it. What am I
It's
saying?
BEA.
Yeah, well,
British European Airways.
Yeah, it's not
Stuff
BEA,
like
that's
that.
the buffering. That's all it is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But retro. This is totally making the end of the year show. For me, favorite retro livery. I've got to be biased and probably go Landor, I think. Special livery, I don't know. I really like, I hate to say it because I'm a Chelsea fan, but I do like the Man City livery from Etihad.
Yeah, it's nice.
And I'm going to get slaughtered for saying that. But yeah, for me, like the Man City one's quite nice. I'm just trying to think of what other ones there were or that might be a nice sort of special livery. Thing is, I don't think there's much I can't really.
What about the Aer Lingus one?
Yeah.
319.
The rugby one, is it?
No. The
The
retro
320 it is.
one. Yeah,
Oh, the
320.
retro 320.
Yeah, that's a nice livery.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, I think my favorite retro, I think, will probably be Landor, just because I am biased towards it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
I can't think of a special livery off the top of my head at the moment. Oh no, I'll tell you what. In the past, Etihad's Formula One livery on the A340-600. If you haven't seen that,
Oh, yeah, no, it
Google
does
it.
ring a bell, I think.
Yeah,
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I'll just very quickly
Yeah.
talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a sucker for. I've lost my train of thought, to be quite honest. Yeah, I'm a sucker for a cargo Luxe 747. I have to admit, as far as cargo planes are concerned, I think cargo Luxe have an absolutely fantastic looking fleet. I'm going back to the Boac 747, what they scrapped.
Yeah,
that was a stunner.
Not
It
scrapped,
really
though.
was. No, it's a museum piece now, isn't it? Or it's in where is it? Up at Cotswold.
The Boac one is at St Athan in Wales.
Oh, is it? Right. Okay,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I mean, that's a stunner.
Yeah, no, it's really nice.
Yeah. I do like the one what Steve was saying, the BAE System 319. Yeah. Those British Airways retro liveries, what they brought out a few years ago, they were all stunning liveries, to be fair, weren't they?
Yeah, they did a great job on those.
Yeah, definitely.
Marco Barrett says, I'll just get the other one up. The BAE Systems Retro A319 is one of his all-time favorite liveries. And he also says, and then one of his all-time favorite standard liveries is the current Logan Air livery.
Really?
It's an interesting one, inspired, of course, by I imagine by
Biscuit
the fact
tin.
that
Good tin.
Inspired by a biscuit tin.
biscuit tin,
That's what it
shortbread,
looks like. A shortbread biscuit tin, yeah.
Yeah.
Shortbread biscuit tin.
Yeah.
That's a
Cheers,
buttery
Marco.
biscuit base.
That's what you get for ripping all my suggestions.
But no, Logan Air's not too bad. Logan Air ain't bad. But
Sure,
yeah, we've got time for just one more, and then we'll go on to saying our farewell. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 or 9 left. We've done Fuji Dream. Screw that poster. I'm done with it. Okay, do you know what? We won't talk about that. We'll talk about what was mentioned just now, which is we haven't got really through a lot of them because there is quite a few, but that's another one. So we haven't got through all of these this evening. We'll probably catch up with them at some point. But last one for this evening, of course, as we've mentioned, and some people have mentioned as well, is Cargo Luxe, which is quite a nice little stunning livery. Ian, you do like this one, so take it away.
Yeah, I just like everything about it. I just like the massive red tail on it. It looks just stunning. With you're drawn straight to the tail, and your eyes are just guided straight down the plane to the Cargo Luxe logo. I just think everything about it is just so neat and tidy and so well laid out and everything. And it's nothing. It looks like there's a lot going on, but there's not a lot going on at the same time. And I just think it really is a stunning looking airplane as well, particularly on that 747-800. I think they just look really well on them, that particular livery. Yeah, and even the cutaway liveries, what they've had in the past as well, they also look really nice as well.
Yeah, Rob Brown Plane Spotting is a massive fan, but he says he's biased. That's because they go to Scotland quite a bit.
Absolutely. I've never seen one. I would love to.
Yeah. Marco Barrett saying it's all right, nothing special.
I like the thickness of the stripes. They're not pinstripe. They're nice and bold and out there. And the parcels on the tail tells you exactly what it is before you even get to the company and what have you. Yeah, it is a nice looking aircraft without being overly fussy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's an improvement on one that they had before. There's an extra bit of colour, obviously colours of the Luxembourg national flag. But the sort of the off grey, sort of light grey, whatever you want to call it, adds a real nice touch to it. So it's pretty nice. I like it. I'm not overly huge, like massive on it, but I like it. I think it's nice. I think it's better than most liveries that are out there, especially for cargo airlines as well, which tend to leave their planes blank white anyway. So, I like it. I think it's nice. And it obviously represents, Luxembourg to a T, and obviously without getting poked in the eye, of course. I'm having a nightmare with these. I'm just going to rip them down at some point. It's nice. I like it. It's a nice livery. Very nice livery.
Yeah. The planes always look clean as well. You never see a dirty one.
Never see a dirty one.
No.
Yeah, for a cargo plane, it's iconic as well, isn't it? Like, really kind of synonymous. You recognise it straight off the bat if you took Cargo Luxe off the side of it.
Yeah, if you took the logo and the name off it, you'd know who it was.
Yeah. It's quite an impressive thing for a cargo liner.
Definitely. So we're all fans of it. Ian's a big fan of it. Steve likes it. I like it.
Yeah.
It's not too bad at all. Rob Brown Planes Point just adding quickly that they had some really nice 747-100s, which were ex-Saudia, and they kept some of their colours when they bought them. I think I've seen pictures of that. Fairly certain I have.
I've actually got one of these. Attica made one, a Revel kit years ago, and yeah, but the red and blue stripe on the side, I couldn't get it on because it was it must have been 12 inches long. This pinstripe I had to put on side, I just couldn't get it on straight at all, and it creased in end, and I couldn't stick it on. I was gutted. So I've actually still got the plain bit without the red and blue stripe on.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I like it. It's very nice, really nice. And that is that. There's still loads to go through. That's the thing. We've got a great big list. We may come back and do a part 2 on this one. But for now, we are going to end the show not end it. We're not going to go just yet. We're going to say goodbyes and shout outs and everything else. Before we do, earlier this evening, we went through the Instagram and Facebook and Twitter for the show. If you want to follow Steve on Instagram, you can. His handle is there below. 10 seconds, Steve, to tell people why they should follow you.
Clearly the best account on Instagram, daily photos, and you'd be a fool not to, basically.
That'll do. That was within 10 seconds. Also, you can follow Ian as well on Instagram as well. His handle is below. Ian, 10 seconds to tell people why they should follow you.
Well, it's the premium place to spot planes and all plane-related shenanigans. Thank you.
Worst selling ever.
If you look on today, I've got. Did I put? No, I didn't. Did I? I just put the. I put the 737 on the West Atlantic one. I'll put the Hercules on what I spotted. I'll probably put that on tomorrow.
Yeah. Just a word of warning. This section just now, where I've just ripped the poster off, is going at the end of the year show. God damn, bloody things, honestly. Anyway. So you can follow Ian as well on Instagram as well. Not going to do it for Steve as to why people should follow you on Twitter, but if you want to follow Steve on Twitter, you can using the handle that's on the screen right now. So before we do any shout outs and stuff, we will announce what we've got coming up for next week, which I'm very excited about. And I think everyone here is very excited about. So next week we are joined by an international airline pilot, having flown everything from literally 727 all the way up to 74s, 75s, 76s, 77s, 7s, the lot, like literally loads. And she has written a book as well, which she's going to come and talk to us about. So next Wednesday we are joined by Laura Savino, who, like I say, we are super excited for this. Time will be sort of confirmed, but it's, looking forward to this. This is going to be a lot of fun to speak to Laura. She seems like a really nice lady as well, so should be good.
Yeah, no, she'll have an absolute wealth of knowledge on
Absolutely
all things aviation, so it was definitely one not to miss.
Absolutely. So we're very much looking forward to having Laura on the show. Right. It's currently 9:00. So let's get through some shout outs. This is the part of the show where we give some shout outs to some very special people to us, and of course to anybody else that we want to. And of course you guys can do the same as well. If you have any shout outs that you want to give to anybody, whether they're watching or whether you just want to give somebody a shout out, or you want to give us a shout out, not that we're going to encourage it, but always goes a long way. Get them into the chat and we'll show them on screen as we do ours. So Steve, we will start with you because we don't have obviously a guest, so we always start with you. If you'd like to do your shout outs for this week.
Yeah, well, shout out to the old names and the new names in the tonight. Thank you ever so much for joining us, and we hope you've enjoyed what you've sort of seen and heard this evening. Tom and Ian, as ever, it's always an absolute privilege to be part of this and to have a bit of fun when we're sort of offline playing computer or whatever.
Mhm.
And finally, someone I know very well, he was doing well on Tinder, and he found out this girl was from Southampton and unmatched her. So massive kudos to you, my friend.
I wonder who that person could have been.
We can't say names for his own kind of immunity or whatever. But
Immunity.
Yeah, like my friend.
Yeah, let's not. Wonderful. I'm just going to read this one out from Oscar Coles, who I gave a shout out to at the beginning, for the fact that he commented on my latest video, which I've put up on about Stansted Airport, my new 2-hour video of Plane Spot Net. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's on the channel. He was very kind to comment on it, and he said a shout out to you guys. This has been an amazing first show. It's always nice to see new names in the chat.
Yep, thank you ever so much.
Which is fantastic. So big thank you to you for joining us this evening. Also, Ian, you can read this one up.
Yeah, well, we're going to mention Rob Brown anyway, because I will do my shout-outs now. He was mentioning there that the Blackjack Typhoon is knackered and he's being retired. I weren't aware of that, so I'm going to have a look into that after, to be quite honest, because I'm a big fan of the Blackjack Typhoon, to be quite honest. I do like a Typhoon. And a shout-out for some chutney that's not been mentioned yet. Nice one, lads. Cracking as always. Well,
yeah.
I was going to mention, guys, I mean, what are we now? We're 4 weeks off Christmas. There's nothing nicer. You can just imagine, be sat around I mean, Rob Brown, you'll know this, living in some really fancy castle up in Scotland, but sat in your armchair with your smoking jacket on and your slippers, with the wood crackling in the fire in front of you, drinking a nice, I don't know, drambuie or a nice glass of port or something, with a nice selection of crackers with a bit of cheese and just a few joys there in front of you, your favourite chutney. There's nothing nicer, is there? Particularly on a Boxing Day evening while you're watching James Bond. So for everyone who's into the chutney, anyway, that's my chutney shout out for this week. But thanks to everybody else who's been listening tonight, particularly all the new names as well, which I've seen popping up in chat, which is absolutely fantastic. And it's nice to have some new people on board as well. Big shout out for my daughter who's next door self-isolating with the old COVID and what have you. So big shout out to her. And yeah, that's it. I'll be back in my normal haunt next week in front of me Lure Angler 2021 Pro.
Brilliant. Not only do we do aviation on this channel, we also are massive foodies. So
yeah, I'm fishing fans. Well, I am anyway.
Yeah, foodies, fishing, and flying. There you go.
Yeah,
if that's not a name for a channel, I don't know what is. But wonderful. I'll give a few shout outs here as well. I'll also very quickly say, if you've enjoyed the show this evening, do leave a like on the stream. That would be massively appreciated to us. It'll also help the channel out as well. And if you are new around here and you aren't subscribed, why not? Feel free to subscribe to us as well and help us on the way to 1,000 subscribers. So first of all, I'll give another shout out to Oscar Coles, because as I say, he's been very nice this evening to kind of just give us a shout out, and a more recent subscriber, and of course his first show. So why not give him a big shout out? So thank you to you. Big thank you to everybody that's been watching this evening on this very cold Wednesday evening. Hopefully we've made you laugh, made you giggle, and the contributions that you guys have made in terms of your favorite liveries has been wonderful. So big thank you to you guys. Steve and Ian, for many reasons, of course, not just being contributors to the show and co-host and everything, but for everything behind the scenes, you know exactly what I'm on about. I'm not going to go into it now. But big thank you to you guys. And of course, as normal, key workers around the world, for the continued effort that you guys give to try and fight this, what can only be described as a pandemic, and all the efforts that you guys are putting in for it. So a big shout out to you guys, and lots of love from us sent your way. So next week, as we said, we're going to be joined, just for anyone that missed it, we are joined by international airline pilot and author Laura Savino, which is going to be a lot of fun. If you have any questions for her, she'll be open to answering anything. in regards to any of the aircraft that she's flown before, and we'll be talking about her book as well. So looking forward to that. But all that is left to say from us is a big thank you to everybody that watched, and we'll be back again next Wednesday, 7:30 at this point. But if it changes, follow us on our social medias, which are in the description below, to keep up to date. All that's left to say is our goodbyes. So, Steve, if you'd like to say goodbye to those that are still watching.
No, absolutely. Thank you, everyone, again for joining in. Have a good week. Cheerio, chaps and chapettes, and we'll catch you next Wednesday.
Fantastic. Marco Barrett just saying great show as always. Thank you very much. Ian, if you'd like to say your goodbyes.
Yeah, just thanks everyone again for watching tonight, and see you all again next week. Thanks very much. Bye.
Yeah. And from Borat.
Great success.
And from me, thank you so much, everybody. Stay safe, of course, as well. And obviously, big sort of shout out as well to obviously Ian's daughter, who is sort of recovering in the next room. So, shout out to her from us. But for now, look after yourselves. Continue to stay safe as always, and we'll see you 7:30 UK time next Wednesday. For now, have a great week, everybody. See you next week.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.